Hello, my name's Dr. Harriet Lamb. May I check your name?
It's Alison Dodd,
And how old are you?
25.
What would you like me to call you?
Ali's fine.
Ali, please call me Harriet. So I've got a letter here from your GP which mentions that you've been really suffering with pelvic pain or lower abdominal pain. And that's been going on for quite a long time. You've taken various pain relief, but mainly you take paracetamol regularly, but it's not really helped you. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm actually not taking paracetamol anymore because
right.
it doesn't do anything.
Really?
Yeah, I've tried paracetamol, I've tried cocodamol, stronger things. I've tried, natural remedies like herbal things and heat packs, but nothing works. And I've just give up with trying it really. It's not the first time I've been to a GP. I think I've been about 5 times now, and if I'm honest, I just feel like I'm getting fobbed off. Like they have sort of referred me here because I keep coming back, but I've been told repeatedly that it's normal period pain and just to take paracetamol, but as I say, paracetamol doesn't do anything because the pain is excruciating. I just feel like I'm not being listened to.
Oh, that sounds really frustrating. Hopefully we can help. So, what I really want to do today is just get a bit more detail about your symptoms and offer you an examination so we can get a bit more information from that side of things too. And then together we'll sit down and go through kind of what we think it might be and go through a plan as well, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
So tell me a bit more about the pain. How long's it been there?
I've noticed it getting really bad in about the last 3 years. I've always had pain since I started my period. When I was younger, I've always had painful periods, but it's definitely gotten worse in the last 3 years. When I'm on my period, I get back pain, I get pain down my legs, all everywhere down there, the back and the front, and I've noticed now it's not just when I'm on my period. I have pain in between, and that's the main thing that's concerning me because it's like the same pain just all the time.
How does it affect your life?
Well, some days I can't get out of bed, and luckily I work for Salford City Council and they've been really accommodating and letting me work from home. So I've been given a laptop and stuff, and they've really helped me. And I think it's because I've got a female manager as well, because otherwise I've been in other jobs. I had a sales job before, and they didn't understand about it, and I just felt like I was, I don't know, like really weak or something. But yeah, some days it is so bad that I just can't get out of bed. I'm doubled over. And
are your periods heavy?
They're lighter now. I've been on the pill for about 2 years, so they're not, I wouldn't say they're heavy, no. They're pretty light.
They're manageable. Yeah. And any bleeding between your periods at all?
No.
Okay. How about your bowels? What are your bowel habits like?
I've got IBS.
Okay.
So I get constipated quite a lot. And I can get diarrhea. Like when I'm on period, it tends to be more diarrhea. But yeah, it's IBS I've had for a while.
Do you get any pain when you open your bowels?
No, not really.
Not really.
I don't get pain. I'll have a pain in my stomach when I need to go, but not when I'm going, if you know what I mean.
I understand, yeah. How about your waterworks? When you go for a wee or when you have a full bladder, do you ever get any pain?
No.
No, things are okay.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Okay. Are you in a relationship?
Yeah. I've been with my boyfriend about 2 years, yeah.
And how are things there?
Yeah, things are good. He's really supportive, but I just feel like it's hard to be intimate sometimes, and it's like I'm always complaining, and I know I am, and he's fed up with it, and I'm fed up with it, and we've had nothing to help and no sort of solution. So he just says, "Oh, you're always complaining about, you're always in pain," and it's not being nasty or anything. It's true. I'm always complaining about. It's almost like I'm making it up, or it's psychological or something, and yeah, it's just hard. I feel like I've lost the connection a bit recently.
Okay. Do you have pain when you have sex?
Yeah. I just feel like I'm avoiding it altogether, really.
Okay.
And it's not personal to him. He doesn't.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's things like he thinks never want to have sex and stuff, but well, I don't.
Because of pain.
Yeah, because of the pain. Yeah.
What about a family? Do you have any children?
No.
And is that something you're thinking about in the near future?
Not in the near future. I would like to have children when I'm ready, probably, like when I'm 30 or something.
Okay. So you mentioned about your IBS. Do you have any other health problems?
I have depression, and that's it really, just my IBS.
Okay, you're on any medication for depression?
Yeah, I take I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, it's okay. It'll be in your notes, don't worry.
Something
Citalopram.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I take Buscopan as well.
You take Buscopan for your IBS?
Yeah, for if it's feeling bad. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had surgery?
No.
And you mentioned you're on the pill. That's been for 2 years, did you say?
2 years, yeah, when I got with my boyfriend.
Okay. And how do you take it? Do you take it for 3 weeks and have a 1 week break?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've taken it for contraception, but obviously it's got the hormone in it, hasn't it, as well?
Yes.
So then I've noticed that my periods are
a bit lighter.
Yeah, lighter.
Okay.
Still painful though.
Okay. And any medical conditions that run through the generations of your family, or anything significant that runs in your family?
No.
No.
Nothing really. Just my mum had hysterectomy in her early 40s for heavy periods.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's it really. It's not serious.
Yeah. All right then. So if you don't mind, I would like to examine you now.
Okay.
It'll be a speculum examination, a bit like a smear test. Have you had a smear test?
Yeah, I had one recently. It was really painful.
Oh gosh. Did you get the results back from that?
Yeah, it was normal.
It was normal. Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously with the examination, we want to have a little look at your cervix and the vagina, and also to examine you internally to see if there is anything that we can feel is abnormal.
Okay.
There's a condition called endometriosis, which I'll speak to you about in much more detail.
Yeah.
But occasionally we can feel endometriosis on examination.
I've come across that before.
Have
when
you?
I've been when I've been Googling things and stuff.
Okay. So what I want to do is examine you, and obviously at any point during the examination, if you're too uncomfortable, we'll just call it off. But we'll see how we get on, and there'll be a chaperone with us.
Okay.
All right. So I'm sorry that examination was uncomfortable, but I'm pleased that everything appeared normal. I know we mentioned earlier about the possible diagnosis of endometriosis. I know you mentioned you'd heard of that before, but I just want to stress before we move on that women can have a normal examination and even normal ultrasound scan findings and still have endometriosis.
Right.
So have you heard much about it?
No, not really. I've just came across it when I was looking on the internet, and I saw a couple of support groups on Facebook and stuff.
Okay.
But I don't really know exactly what it is.
Okay, I'd like to explain it to you. It is a little bit complicated, so if I'm not explaining it very well at any point, please stop me and I'll try to explain it better. So endometriosis is where the endometrium, which is the lining of the uterus, grows in the wrong place.
Right.
So we all have an endometrium, which is the lining of the womb, and that's controlled by hormones that are produced by the ovaries. The ovaries are the structures on either side of the pelvis which contain our eggs, and they produce hormones to tell the endometrium, or the lining of the uterus, to build up ready for pregnancy.
Right.
If you don't become pregnant, that then sheds away and you have a period.
Yeah.
Okay. So when somebody has endometriosis, that lining of the womb also grows outside of the uterus, and it can grow in front of the uterus, behind, on the tubes, ovaries, even near the bowel. What happens then is it responds to the same signals from the ovaries to build up and get ready for pregnancy, but it's got nowhere to go. So you end up with areas inside the abdomen which are painful and inflamed.
Right.
And they can even cause scarring between the structures in the abdomen, such as the uterus and the bowel.
Right. That sounds really bad. Would I have to have like surgery to remove it, that scarring?
Well, these spots of endometriosis can be so small that the only way to see them can be with a laparoscopy, which is a camera procedure. Now that's a surgical procedure, and the main aim of doing that would be to diagnose whether you do have endometriosis or not, but also treat the endometriosis by removing it, which we call excision surgery.
So you wouldn't know that you had endometriosis unless you had that?
Not necessarily.
So it seems like quite a lot to go through a surgery just to find out if you've got it or not.
Absolutely, and it's a very personal choice. There are alternative options for treatments, so we'll talk about those in detail, and then you can decide what you want to do next.
Okay.
It's really important what we think about options for treatment of endometriosis. that we know that there's no real scientific evidence that one treatment is better than any other. So it's really all based on your symptoms and maybe a bit of trial and error to see which side effects affect you and which don't, and which treatments are of benefit to you.
Okay.
So the first option is what we call conservative management. And what that means is using pain relief to manage your symptoms better.
Yeah, I've tried pain relief. It didn't do anything, but...
Okay. So you said you've tried paracetamol. Have you tried anything else in terms of pain relief?
I did try stronger ones like cocodamol, but I was getting constipated, and so my IBS, it just was a whole issue in itself, and I said natural things that haven't really helped.
Have you ever tried anything like an anti-inflammatory, like ibuprofen?
No, I've not actually.
Okay.
I've not.
So because we think endometriosis is an inflammatory condition, anti-inflammatories are really helpful. So a trial of ibuprofen would definitely be worth a go.
Okay.
The other thing that sometimes people find helpful with pain from endometriosis are things like nerve blocker pain relief, such as pregabalin or gabapentin. They are drugs that have slightly more side effects than ibuprofen, so it would be worth trying the ibuprofen first, but just knowing that that's another option in the future if you need to.
Okay.
The second option would be what we call medical treatment, and that's using hormones to basically turn off your ovaries, stop that monthly cycle, and hopefully then improve the symptoms of endometriosis by doing that.
Like the pill?
Yes, exactly. So the options for that are, I mean, the most basic option for you would be to use the pill that you're on, but instead of having a break every 3 weeks, using it in three monthly cycles, so having 3 packets back to back, followed by a week's break.
Oh, can you do that?
And yes, you can. And then you'd only have a period every 2 to 3 months rather than every month. Some people find that quite beneficial. Other options would be things like the progesterone-only pill, or we have other alternative progesterone therapies, and they're tablets that you take almost continuously, and again, to do the same thing. Or something called the Mirena coil, which is a small plastic device that goes inside the uterus and stays there for 5 years. Have you ever heard about that?
I have, yeah. I've had a friend who's had it and she said it was quite uncomfortable, but I think she ended up bleeding a lot of the time.
Okay. Well, as I say, it's really individual, and a lot of these treatments are trial and error and see what suits you. Another option just to mention is something called GnRH analogues, and basically they're injections that can induce a temporary state of menopause. In terms of side effects, it can be quite extreme. People can get more side effects with that than they do with the other hormonal options. But again, it's worth knowing that that option is there for you should you need it in the future.
Sounds a bit extreme, but yeah.
I mean, most of the time people start with the basics and then work up to things like that later.
I didn't know about taking the pill like back to back, and that's something I would probably like to try actually. Yeah.
So the third option would be surgery. You mentioned earlier you're a bit worried about the thought of that.
Yeah, that obviously I think that hormones, extreme surgery seems, just quite a lot to go through, especially not quite sure about what there is, or but from what you said, it does sound like I've got endometriosis. It sounds like I finally found the thing that, to say what's been going on, to give an explanation about what the pain's been. But yeah, I think surgery, what would the surgery involve?
So it's a keyhole procedure, so it's called the diagnostic laparoscopy. I appreciate I've given you an awful lot of information.
Yeah, it's a lot of information to take in.
But I'll definitely give you some patient information leaflets about it, and about endometriosis, and also about the Mirena coil. But the laparoscopy is where we have a look inside the tummy with a camera and aim to remove all the endometriosis that's there. As we discussed earlier, that's the only real way of knowing for certain that this is endometriosis. But many women choose not to have that diagnostic procedure and try different treatments. And if they suit you, then you don't necessarily need a formal diagnosis.
Okay, well, I definitely feel happy to start with some of the options like a bit lower down and then see where it gets to.
Okay, so what I'll do then is I'll arrange a follow-up appointment with you. But we do have a specialist nurse, endometriosis nurse, who I'll give you the contact details of, and you can contact her anytime you like, if you want to have any more information at all, or if you have any further questions.
Oh, that's really good.
Is there anything else you'd like to discuss today?
No, I don't think so. I think you've answered everything there, and it'd be good to get some leaflets to go through it. And
Yeah.
speak to my boyfriend as well.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's
Okay.